Hi everyone, it's Nicola, and in my next sequence of videos of my trip to Italy, we're going to be discussing the Amalfi Coast. Now, what I actually didn't realize is the Amalfi Coast is made up of a few different bays, beaches, whatever you want to call it, different villages. The ones we visited was we lived in Positano, and then with a boat, we went and visited Amalfi in the Amalfi Coast, and we also visited Capri in the Amalfi Coast. So in the video you're about to see the different snippets and whatever, first it starts with a train trip. So what's wonderful about Italy is that it's so easy to catch an express train, a fast train, from village to village to village. And we made sure that we were only traveling 2.5 to 3 hours per time to go from town to town. So it was just fantastic. And while we were there, we'd catch up on emails and phone calls to home and things like that. So it was just fantastic. So arriving to Amalfi is pretty amazingly ridiculous, especially after being in Rome. It was beautiful to see huge open expanses of water. The cliffside villages started, the mountainside villages, and it was so amazing to see things like, you could see crops and farms growing down the side of a mountain. You could see villages filling up, cascading down to the water. Like, it was just stunning, absolutely beautiful. We stop and have a look at on the way in, and that just took our breath away. It was really, really amazing. What I loved about the Amalfi Coast is more color seemed to come into play. So I wore my silks a bit more, I wore my colors a bit more. Turquoise I really, really loved, to the point that I managed to get a pair of shoes while in Capri. Capri was actually very expensive compared to everywhere else. It's like the Hollywood kind of scene on the Amalfi Coast. But lucky for us, we were catching the summer sales. There wasn't that much left, but look at these shoes that I got. 70% off, all sequenced. No, not sequenced. They're all bugle beads, the round beads. And look at how well it goes with the Malaysian jade in the turquoise. So I was pretty happy to come across those beauties, especially at 70% off, and to actually be able to say I could buy something from Capri, because like I said, everything was just really, really inflated. So the series of where this video is going to go is, we start in Positano, the beautiful beach, very pebbly beaches. To walk from your beach chair down to the water was painful. So people would often invest in you know, those rock climbing rubber soles for your feet, or you'd wear your thongs as close to the water's edge as you can, slip them off, painfully walk in. So everyone would walk out of the beach like this. It wasn't graceful. There was no way you could get around doing it. So so that was the beaches there. So beautiful though. The rocks were beautiful. And what was amazing, even, like, I collected some rocks to bring home. What was amazing was, even there were terracotta rocks and white rocks in the base of the beach. And then you realize that they were actually once roof tiles or once bathroom tiles, and that you'd find the little print on them, an old picture, and somehow these got smashed and ended up in the water. So it was just stunning. I noticed that jewelry began to get more colorful, more, as I mentioned, the turquoise. Turquoise is a major influence, especially in the more water-based areas. I found, I think the influence of water plays a big part. And so I noticed, as I started posting more photos of the turquoise Malaysian jade and the turquoise howlite, we were selling more. So turquoise howlite sold out while I was gone. And seeing that we have summer here in Italy, maybe I wish I was in Italy still. Summer here in Australia just coming up. I've decided to restock the turquoise howlite coming into our summer. So yeah, because of my trip to Italy, this picked up quite a bit compared to what it had been doing. And just so you can see, that is the difference between the two turquoises. Very, very different. One is much softer, one is much brighter. And what I loved doing while I was there was mixing it with my my gold bangle, which I wear almost every day, and this new piece that I got from Rome. And I love this look. I love mixing a pop of color, which is really typical. You'll see in the pop of vibrant purple flowers, or it's not so neutral like Rome was in the city kind of thing, a bit more adventurous in the way they were dressing, and more color. I noticed in general, more color in the theme of the restaurants, hotels, you know, just pops of color here and there, which was beautiful to see. I wore this Milan top as a, often knotted up with some shorts, and loved it, felt very comfortable. As you can see, we were eating a lot, and while we were walking a lot, so I didn't put on too much weight, just a couple of kilos, which I don't mind, it was well worth it. But the drapey, flowier fabrics really was very forgiving, especially on days that the figure was struggling, let's just put it that way. Seafood and pasta is very, you can't, well, I didn't want to resist it. I wanted to enjoy every bite, and we did. So that was awesome. The narrow pathways you'll see winding up, you know, it could be a 20-minute walk in Rome, 45-minute walk in Rome, no problem. But when you're walking straight up, and that's a 20-minute walk straight up the hill, it's hard work. We found it really, really tough. So we stayed on the ground level. That's something good to remember in these hillside villages. We stayed on ground level, which was so much easier. And we didn't have a big hike after a big meal and a couple of glasses of wine. So that was really, really good. The first boat trip you'll see, we're going to Amalfi, the actual Amalfi coast. And that was beautiful, wonderful, nice to see a slightly different area. Did love Positano. We really took to that area. It was beautiful. And the second boat trip, you'll see in this next clip, takes us to Capri. Now, Capri was mind-blowingly beautiful. Everything raised a level or two, from the jewelry to the restaurants to the finishes to the, it really felt very much more Hollywood, and you noticed it in everything, from prices to wine to service to everything. So yeah, I hope you enjoy the video coming up. It really was an amazing time, and so nice to, because once you go, especially coming from Australia, where we were 26 hours in transit to actually get to Rome. And while you're in Rome, it's very, like, it's hectic, it's busy, it's bustling. And then to get to the Amalfi Coast and actually just stop and sunbake was beautiful. So I would recommend, if you're going to ever do an Italian trip, to mix up a city destination with then a water destination where you can actually slow down a bit. So I hope you enjoy the Amalfi Coast.